Hello everybody, CritCrab here with another story, and this one is about a creepy guy who reacted really poorly when the love of his life was tragically killed in a fire. In a game. There's not much more I can say about this story without taking away from the shock factor, so without further ado, roll post. Several years ago, when I was a much poorer GM, I ran a pulp spy game set during World War II. Against my better judgment, I allowed the friend of one of the players to join. We'll call him Frank. The party was investigating occult happenings in northern Africa and had come across a small town wherein they encountered a female NPC. I had planned a limited role for her in the campaign, but Frank had other designs. Every time the party tried to leave town, Frank would find some reason to stay, delaying their departure. He rarely approached the NPC, and when he did, his conversation was tepid. He made a couple of comments about being attracted to her character, but nothing that would lead me to believe he was obsessed with her. To drive the plot forward and get the party moving, the enemy burned down the business the NPC and her father ran. They both died in the blaze. That's when everything went sideways with Frank. He was angry at me for killing the love of his life, in his words, and had planned to marry her, and I ruined everything, his words. Immediately, he had his character leave the group and travel back to his home in New York. I informed Frank that I had no interest in running his solo game in New York, and he agreed, but still insisted on going there. The next week, Frank wasn't at the game. We all assumed he had quit, and we continued without him. About 45 minutes into play, there was a knock at the door. Frank apologized for being late and proceeded to lay on the living room couch in the dark, within view of the table where the rest of us were gaming. I would ask him from time to time what he was doing, and he would give mundane answers like registering at the university, looking for an apartment, etc. As the night wore on, I checked in with him less and less. When the session ended, I had a private conversation with him and reiterated that he needed to find a way to join the game everyone else was playing or stop gaming with us. He said he understood and would have to think about it. The next week, he arrived late again and laid on the couch and did the same mundane actions. At the end of that session, I asked him again to either join the group or leave. He said he saw no reason to join the group. Then you'll have to leave the game or create a new character, I replied. But I don't want a new character, he said. Then there's no reason for you to continue playing. He acted very mature about it and told me he understood. The next week, everyone arrived and began playing without Frank. We all thought we were done with him when, about an hour into the session, someone knocked at the door. Frank. I didn't even let him in the house. I told him in no uncertain terms we no longer wanted him in the group. He just stood there, not saying a word. After a long pause of nothing being said, I closed the door and returned to the group. Who knows how long he stood on the doorstep before leaving. End post. Ah yes, the oldest trick in the book. If I mope and pout enough, I will surely get my way. The last person to use that tactic was my 4-year-old sister, and yeah, it didn't work out very well for her either. $10, he sat on the steps with his head dramatically in his hands like Cinderella, waiting for the streetlights to illuminate his heartbroken face. And legend has it, he is still sitting there to this day, mourning the death of his one true waifu. I get that this was a shorter video, but it was too good not to tell. Maybe I should start making videos with a few short stories in them, but I'll get back to you on that one. Also, before I end this video, I would like to quickly add that I'm hosting a merch design competition. I'm going to be setting up a small merch line before the year ends, and there is money in it for the winner. More on that in this community post. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories just like this one. Till next time.